Hello, fireflies. Welcome back to the realm of Lux. It's your girl Phoenix, your favorite fairy researcher and fantasy baddie. I am back today with more fairy assessments. Woo, yay! The crowd goes crazy. Not really, but hopefully, you guys enjoy this series. Today, instead of a list, we will be focusing on one character, and that one character is Suguru from Jujutsu Kaisen. So we will be reviewing his life, some things that happened in the show. I'll try to be light on spoilers for those of us that like to binge watch. And then I will give you his final diagnosis. And at the end of this video, I want you to comment if you agree or if you have questions. I would love to answer them. So without further ado, let's get started. Meet Suguru, a special grade Jujutsu Kaisen sorcerer that we meet as an antagonist in Jujutsu Kaisen and as Saturo's best friend in Jujutsu Kaisen of the prequel. In Jujutsu Kaisen we get to see Suguru's prowess as a Jujutsu sorcerer. We also get to see many of his capabilities, some of the curses he can summon, and we also get to see the bond that he has with Satoru. While we do get to see Satoru's prowess and all of the fun times and the bond between him and Satoru, we also get to see how his special capabilities and the curses begin to wear on him as the story progresses. As the story progresses, Jujutsu Kaisen does a wonderful job showing Suguru's slow descent and the weight of his abilities and what he believes his responsibility to be as a sorcerer. And we see a lot of beautiful artwork showing him being exhausted, even in the way that he is drawn, the bags under his eyes, the constant stress, the constant worry, because the curse ability he has is that he has to absorb curses and negative energy in a sense. Now, I know the anime heads are going to come for me, but this is meant to be a psychiatric diagnosis and not a breakdown of the amazing and complex Jujutsu sorcerer power skill and how curses work. As the story continues, we begin to see Suguru question his purpose, what's his responsibility as a sorcerer, and the weight that it appears to have on him, on his physical appearance, and also how he begins to interact and withdraw from the world. We begin to see him isolating. We even begin to see the color schemes utilized when drawing him change, like in this little clip where it is raining, it is blue, and he looks to be worried. When Suguru begins to question his purpose as a Jujutsu sorcerer and he begins to have a conversation with a fellow colleague, he is then stumped because he does not know what to do anymore. He begins to be indecisive and unsure and lacks clarity of what his purpose is as a Jujutsu sorcerer, while still constantly intaking the negativity and stress of curses from humanity, because that is his special talent. We finally begin to see this come to a head when Suguru massacres a village of people, over 112 people in one night, after witnessing a religious group clap at the death of a child, which pulls him over the edge, and he then seeks vengeance on humanity. We then see Suguru walk away from Tokyo Jujutsu High and walk away from his friendships in a heartbreaking moment where Gojo is even contemplating killing his own best friend. And what this signifies is that he has completely altered his beliefs and has succumbed to the pressure of his negative thoughts and the consumption of humanity. So we see him walking away from everything he knows in pursuit of a new pessimistic goal. In the end, unfortunately, as we see in Jujutsu Kaisen O, that Suguru does face a very sad ending at the hands of his best friend after attempting to eradicate humanity and protect Jujutsu sorcerers. So, what would be his diagnosis? Now we'll get to the fun part. So my initial diagnosis was, would he have disruptive mood dysregulation disorder? And so with disruptive mood dysregulation disorder, one of the major hallmarks is irritability, being very irritable, and it should not be diagnosed in people over 18 and before the age of 4. So this is usually a diagnosis for a younger demographic. However, because Suguru, we do not know a lot about his childhood or about his family, this would be an inaccurate diagnosis because we just do not have enough information. And because we don't have enough information, we can exclude that diagnosis. But there are some other diagnoses that we can look at that may be more suitable for this character. So let's get into them. So some of the things we saw with Suguru was him being distraught. We also saw him heavily lost in thought and concentrating, not enjoying things as he used to, being indecisive and torn about major things like his life purpose and what he was supposed to do as a jujutsu sorcerer. And even as he is illustrated, we begin to see bags under his eyes and he is looking a little more gaunt, showing fatigue. He isolates himself more, and he also has a negative reaction to humanity after the death of this child that was cheered on by this religious group. So when we watch all of the sequences of Suguru Geto's life, where does this lead, and what would this be in a psychosocial assessment? So my final diagnosis of Geto Suguru would be major depressive disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder. And the reason why this would be my diagnosis is because of the individual experiences of anhedonia, which is basically lacking joy, motivation, having fun, and just having the inability to do that. Having persistently sad or pessimistic thoughts that are overly negative. And so his thoughts begin to change and warp with humanity. We begin to see the signs of insomnia, or lack of sleep with the bags under his eyes, the constant staring off into the distance. He seems tired, and he also has a hard time making decisions. I would also add PTSD to this because of recurrent involuntary or intrusive memories for traumatic events. The traumatic event of having this child die and a religious group applaud really changed fundamentally what he thought about humanity. He began to have increased frequency of negative emotions towards humans. He began to socially withdraw, and he did not express anything positive as much. And he did have an angry outburst when he sacrificed a whole village. Well, not sacrificed, but slaughtered a whole village of 112 people. So in the end, I would diagnose him with major depressive disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder from the stress of just being a jujutsu sorcerer. His cursed ability was to take in the negativity of humanity. And if you check, that is one of Suguru's major stressors. So with that being said, I would diagnose him with post-traumatic stress disorder and major depressive disorder. Would you guys want to hear how I would counsel him? Really quick, This information is not appropriate for any form of diagnosis or assessment. Please seek professional help if you feel you may be struggling with mental illness or stress. And as always, I will drop resources where you can get those in the description, as well as the definition of both diagnoses. Again, do not try to use these. It takes way more to actually do an assessment. But I hope you guys enjoyed my assessment of Ghetto Suguru. Who do you want to see next? Hi, Fireflies! Thanks for tuning in. So I hope you enjoyed this psychosocial assessment of Suguru. Do you agree, or do you think it is something else? And what other characters would you like to see me assess? I hope you stay tuned. Next week we'll be talking about Kikyo and how she represents ambiguous loss. Until next time, bye.